When you summarize data visually using PowerView, you might want to limit the data that appears on your PowerView sheet. In this movie, I will show you how to limit the data that appears by creating filters. I will use the Filter Sample Workbook, which you can find in the Chapter 11 folder of your Exercise Files archive. This workbook already has a PowerView sheet in it, so I'll click the PowerView 2 Sheet tab on the tab bar, and doing so displays the PowerView sheet. This sheet contains a table, and it shows 3 fields, department, month, and the number of customers for that month. If I want to limit the data that appears in PowerView, then I can drag a field from the PowerView Fields pane to the Filters area. So let's say that I want to filter by month. Then I would just drag the month field to the Filters area, and doing so displays the filter interface for that field. I have a series of checkboxes, which are like a selection filter in normal pivot tables. So if I want to display only values for January, I can check that box. If I want to show for both January and March, I can also check the 03 March box. If I want to remove the filter and display all values, then I can uncheck the all box so that all of the checkboxes are clear. I can also create an advanced filter. To do that, I click the Advanced Filter button, which is here, and doing so displays the filter interface so that I have a little bit more control. It's a lot like the Advanced Filter dialog box that you find in the normal Excel interface. So for example, I can create my comparison rule, so I can show items for which the value contains a certain string, doesn't contain, starts with, doesn't start with, and so on. So let's say, for example, that I want to stay with contains, so I'll check it, and I only want to display months that end in ARY, so January and February. I have contains as my rule, so I'll type ARY, and then at the bottom click Apply Filter. Now, through what I admit is a fairly contrived example, I only see results for January and February. I can also create compound filters that have 2 conditions. So for example, if I want 2 things to be true, then I can use an AND condition, or create an AND rule. On the other hand, if I want only one or both rules to be met, then I can click OR. In this case, I'll stay with AND. And I'll create another contains rule. So let's say that I'm only interested in months that contain ARY and also contain the letter F. When I click Apply Filter, PowerView limits the data in my table so it only displays the month of February, which is the only month with a name that contains both the letter F and the letters ARY. If I were to change this to an OR rule by clicking OR and then clicking Apply Filter, I'd see the months of January and February, because January contains ARY, and even though it doesn't contain the letter F, the rule still holds. If you want to clear a filter without removing it, then you can click the Clear Filter button, and you retain the controls here. If you want to switch from the Advanced Filter mode to the regular filter mode, what I call Selection mode, then you can click the List Filter Mode button. And if you want to remove the filter field entirely, you can click the Delete Filter button. And that's how you limit the data that appears inside of your controls in PowerView.